Hello, everyone. Welcome to Accelerate Your Best Life and another 20 to 30 minutes with me and Zack. Mustache Media. Zack Mustache. That's him right here. You just met the myth, the legend, and the however they say that, right?
Here in the flesh and blood.
Right? There we are. Anyway, I'm Tom Worth, Accelerate Your Best Life. And as we always go, and what this is all about is accelerating your best life. And what is that best life for you? We're just grateful to have you here, and we're growing and learning as well as you guys growing and learning. We're just talking about some topics that we figured out that's got to happen to be able to get moving forward towards that vision. And I just want to start out. I don't know if you can see this nice sweatshirt, but it explains it all. What's it say, Zach? It
says your future starts today, not tomorrow. Today. Your future starts today. And that means everything you do right now is going to determine tomorrow. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Stepping forward. Peaks, valleys.
Yep, peaks and valleys. Explain peaks and valleys real quick. What are peaks and valleys?
Well, peaks and valleys is you're chasing your vision, and you got that vision set and your heart set on it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You see it, you want to just go get it. You're accelerating, moving forward. Boom! Oh, no. Now we're coming down. Now that peak, or that valley, we hit the peak. Now the valley, it can either be a deep, long valley. It's up to you.
It can be shallow, can it?
It can be.
Yep. Tom, I want to ask you, what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about changing identity.
And what do you mean by that?
So, changing identity to me is I had to really evaluate who I was that I didn't like, that chaotic me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I knew that that's not what I wanted to live with for the rest of my life, and I had to start doing things that shifted who I was. That we talked about reactions. It shortens the reaction time. You become better. Really, ultimately, what it is building the man.
Wow.
Building the man on the inside out. Right now, most of us have been outside, not even really reflected to in.
Yep.
But what this Accelerate Your Best Life, to be able to accelerate, to get everything material, spiritual, anything that you desire, all your answers lay in here. I believe. I know that for a fact.
100% with you.
Right?
Yep.
And as far as the identity is, we are here, right now. Yesterday is gone. That's not coming back. Mm-mm. You're never going to get that back. Time is time, and it never stops. That's the only thing that never stops. So, waste a day, it's gone. Now what are we going to do? How are we going to make it up? How are we going to just live now?
Yesterday's poor me will never make a better today. And that is 100%.
Exactly.
Sitting there dwelling on yesterday, taking today to dwell on yesterday, that's not going to project you into the new person you need to be. All the things that you wanted to do today or yesterday that you haven't done yet, that doesn't help you get into the new person that you want to be. You got to start making new habits, forming the new you, and it all starts right now, today. And me and Tom, we take a minute right before these videos to hop into these subjects. And Tom asks me, so do you think that this is the one for today? Pointed out my hoodie, and I said yes, which I got to give a quick shout out. Austin Johnson and Austin Johnson Films. Go check out his brand. I believe it's TNT Supplements. Austin Johnson Films is also his own production studio. So I've been working side by side with him on a bunch of other stuff. He's amazing. Check out his socials. Check out his supplement company. Great dude. And this hoodie speaks volumes. Your future starts today.
And it is right here, right now. Today, for myself, I was actually caught myself in the valley. I peaked over the holidays, started to go down a little bit. Now I'm back up. So it's always really up. I had to sit down, and what it takes for me is I've got to sit down and evaluate what's going on. Because if I don't become conscious and aware, I'm going to stay in that for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's a daily check. It's a minute-to-minute check, really.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
You just have to always be checking yourself. Are you being and acting as that future you, that person you see in your mind that you want to be. And there's so much power to that because life is a crazy thing. It's a chaotic world. It's a dark world. And the truth is, we have dark and light within us. For the longest time, I lived in the dark. Didn't really know what to do. Thankfully, I just made it a choice that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I wanted more in my life. I was tired of working for the man and home to work, sit down, watch TV, eat, go to bed, get back up, do the same robotic stuff every day, right? So what I started doing was just changing one thing at a time. I'd get up on the opposite side of the bed. Think about this one. How many of you make your bed? It'd be interesting to see if you make your bed.
Leave it down in the comments down below. Do you make your bed or do you not? We want to know.
So if you don't,
that's okay.
Make it.
Make it though.
And do that consistently. How long does it take to create a habit? They say 21 days, right?
I thought it was 19, but maybe it is 21. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Somewhere's in that range.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
But here's the deal. You do it for 19 days, 21 days. Keep doing it for 23, 24, 25, the rest of your life.
There's no reason to stop it.
No. Habits aren't to change and then go back. You can't go back. We're going forward. What do we always talk about? Never back, always forward.
Yep. And most of the time when you're going back, it's not you're just taking a step back. Most of the time you do go back about 5 steps. You take 2 steps forward, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm doing so good. Then you let it all get you, brings you back 5 steps. Now you got to make up 7 steps, right?
All right. It's just math.
It is. It is.
It is. Yeah, I mean, tell me a little bit of habits that from where you was to where you are. What are you doing?
I would say there's been a lot that's changed with me and my habits. I used to, I've wanted to do all this kind of stuff for my own media, my own content, my own brands, all that. And I used to just think that you could just say, I want to be a content creator. And then it all happens. Someone jumps out of the bushes and they start filming you. It doesn't happen like that. It's the habits, the daily changing, the scrolling all the time. And that's what I had to change seriously was I spent a lot of time doing this. I had to put regulations on my settings on the apps so I only get an hour a day because you shouldn't be spending more than an hour on each app. It's social media just pulls you in so much. But changing up my gym habits, so my physical habits, I used to just go home, watch TV, and do nothing. Poor me, my life's not getting any better. I'm struggling. My mental health struggling. All of a sudden you add that gym aspect and I get dedicated 21 days, 30 days, 2 months. All of a sudden my mental health's changed. My physical health is extremely changed. I'm not as tired now. It's allowed me to get into more habits, right? So now I have my gym structure. So for me, it goes, and this is especially going to be my upcoming schedule. I'll just tell you guys what my habits are going to be in the upcoming month. I'm going to have get up in the morning, I do my morning routine, then I go to work. After work, I have schooling for 2 hours. After school, I do my side job for a half hour, make sure that, all my side hustles are doing good, the social medias, all that. And then I have the solid hour for the gym, the last thing of the day. Then I go home and I have an hour with my girl. And those are all habits that it's taken me a while. I would say it's taken me the last 6 months to be where I am now. But if I didn't take that first initial step to change little habits, little things, poor me thoughts, is that a habit I was stuck in for a while? Poor me, why isn't my life getting
everybody's fault?
Yep. It's this guy, and this guy ruined me. I couldn't do all this because of this guy. This happened, and I'm holding on to that stuff, and I'm being this venomous person. I'm snaking, biting people, putting that venom into them. Then they start thinking about this guy or this thing like this, and being that sporadic person doesn't help anyone, but being able to acknowledge that, take a second, and come back, and start to focus on, okay, I got to change that habit of thinking about this person. I'm going to start telling myself I love this guy, freaking love this guy. And sometimes you got to convince yourself, and it sounds completely crazy, but you got to convince yourself of things sometimes, right?
It might sound stupid to the ordinary guy, but you know what? If it takes me to a different state, I'm all about telling myself I'm great.
Mm-hmm.
Your subconscious doesn't know right, true or false. You have to speak that from your mind to your subconscious. The subconscious is really where you run out of it because that's your robotic habits. You just do it naturally. You can go around with your eyes closed and do everything you do every day, but you hit on a word, and I think the very first thing to change your identity, there's one word that's powerful, and it's think.
Wow.
How do you think? Most of us didn't think, or you're not thinking. You just think it's all going to come to you. You keep doing what you've always done. You're going to keep getting, the truth is, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. As much as I sat for years thinking, if I keep doing what I'm doing, it's going to come to me. It's going to come to me. It never came to me. I just kept getting my ass kicked.
It's just like someone starting a business up. Some people start businesses and just think, oh, wow, I started a business. It's going to make money now.
Right.
You got to put work behind it.
You have to. The action is where the learning is, and life is learning. And I've learned that life is not about just the money. It's learning first, then the money comes.
Oh, and it does.
And how you learn is in action.
Yep. And
real true life experience.
Right? And that's everything. That is everything. You can't, until you put experience to things,
you're never going to know.
You're never going to know. And I can't remember what book it was, but I was reading a book the other day that was saying you'll never know until you actually jump out and experience it. And what hurt does it cause you to jump out and experience it? And if it does, good. Then you learned. You knew, right? Learning is everything. Taking steps to being able to grow, to learn things, to experience pain in this area. Oh my gosh, I just did this and I put all this time and I made no money. Well, now you know, right? I just learned from that whole experience. And I used to take experiences like that and be so mad. Reactions is another big one, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's another one you got to have.
It's always one that you've got to shorten that gap.
But there's a lot, and that's my favorite thing about being a part of Accelerate Your Best Life is there isn't one thing that's going to accelerate your best life. There is endless possibilities of things that can accelerate you and help you grow. We're just one tool, one drop in the bucket of things out there.
But at the end of the day, it's ultimately about you and what you do about it. Are you willing to change? Do you want to change? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired of where you are? You've got to ask that question to yourself. I'm sorry, but you have to. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to change, maybe we love having you, but this might not be for you.
Is change a part of life, Tom?
Always.
And when we can't change, that blocks the flow, right?
It does. And what do you have to progress?
Flow.
Right?
100% flow. You have to be open to change. It's like how the world is. The world, seriously, the natural world, it's always changes. There's always stuff. There's wind and water erosion, right? And you got to have that because then you got a whole new shaped landscape. Wow, this area looks like this and it didn't 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. But the world sculpted it into that view. That's you. You're the sculptor. You are the world. You can change things. You are water and erosion. You're eroding what this form is, who this person is, and you're forming it into something that much more beautiful, right?
Yep, and it's just like on the inside of you, it's an open map. And you can, if you're a pottery builder or whatever, you can just form and mold that into that most beautiful piece of pottery. And that's really what you are, right?
I agree 100%.
And it's just molding and forming and becoming and doing different things than you used to because you want different results. And changing identity is what I found as I look forward and go towards my vision comes back and meets me. And that's where the action is. We're here right now and we're going to that vision. If we step forward and take these chances, your vision's coming at you too. You'll meet in the middle. Think about that. Or you can stay here and it will just stay far away.
Yeah.
But the last thing you want to do, and you're going to go there because that's kind of the valleys, is you end up back here. But you got to get out of that as fast as possible and get your dream back and get your vision back, because your vision's going to pull you from the past.
Yep.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
Don't you see that with your own life?
Yep. And someone said something to me the other day that so killer. If you're in your head, you're dead.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting there and you're overthinking everything, you're freaking out about everything, you're just thoughts.
Ego.
Yep. Me, poor me, all this is happening. I'm angry, I hate life, all this stuff. You're in your head and you're dead. You're dead in the water, you're not flowing anymore, and you need to get out of that. Honestly, I think that came from Jonathan, one of our sales trainers. I want to shout him out and say thank you for that. Because seriously, I've seen that quote help my brothers out. If you're in your head, you're dead. You got to work to get out of that. It's time to find that new identity. Seriously, it's time to ask yourself, am I happy where I'm at? Am I seriously happy with my last check? Am I happy with the friends that I have? Do I feel fulfilled? Do I feel like I am the genuine person that I am, that I need to be? And if you're not, you need to seriously take some time to reflect on you, your friendships, your groups, the kind of people that are speaking into your life, the media you're watching. I could go on. There's
there is so
much out there.
But I kind of reflected back this, and I just knew my head, my heart. My head's the angry, egotistical ego, right? But living in my heart's love and care. That's who I truly am. That's who I was when I first come into this world. But then life started to kick my ass, right? Now, I've identified what I came as, and now I'm working towards being that again. We're peeling the onion.
Yep.
What did Shrek say?
Ogres are onions. And he says that because he's had so much bad experiences in his life, and people, that guy, And Shrek's like, ogres are like onions, and you have to peel the layers back.
Yeah. And just think as your heart. I mean, if you're feeling hardened at this time, I've been there. Trust me. One step at a time, we peel one layer. We peel one layer. And it's progression, as long as we're progressing, right?
Yeah.
And overcoming. We have to overcome. You know, I was thinking, I've never been one for titles all my life, but I gave myself a title, and Zack has a title, and you ought to have a title. Is what you are is you are a professional problem solver. That's what we are. Any problem you can get through, I promise you. Regardless of how much fear is there, if you push forward, you can solve that problem. Believe that.
Oh, and I do.
And we see it all the time.
Yep. It's all this. This is the biggest problem solver in the world. You are the biggest problem solver.
Yeah.
You can make a difference. You can be a different person. You can be a better you. And I truly mean that.
Yeah. And it's life is energy. Believe it or not, life is energy, right?
Yeah.
And you have an energy, and you can read. I can read people's energy when it's off. And sometimes I choose to just stay away from it because I want to vibrate at, it's like on a radio station. I mean, 103.5 here's a good station, but if you're on 103.2, what do you got? You got static, right? So how do I level myself up to that vibration of my vision, right?
Yeah.
And it's no different. We are vibration. We are energy.
I agree.
That's just the truth.
We are. And I want to say, me and Tom, we're not perfect, and we live a regular, basic life like all of you guys. We have a 9-to-5 job. We do sales here at Legacy RV Center. And for me personally, I'm not a perfect person. I'm honestly going through probably one of the hardest times in my life right now. And just to be transparent with you guys, I'm working through it, and I know that there's a bright side on the other side of this. It's a little bit of a tunnel, but I do see that huge bright side. I know my train is just working fast to get through this tunnel, and we're going to freaking make it. But doing Mustached, my own supplement company, this, working. There's just a lot coming at me, and I've just been like, wow, this is probably the busiest and most chaotic time of my life, but I'm happy because I go to bed fulfilled every day. I'm go, 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 go. But when I do have those moments, and most of the time it's in meditation, to stop and take it all in.
And quiet the mind.
I'm grateful. And I'm
Yep.
so grateful because I want to get to the end of my life and I want to see the two paths. I want to see the path of the Zack that was the worst, that didn't do anything, that lived a sad life, poor me, and never made anything of his life because he lived in that mindset. And I want to see the big built Zack that did everything in his life, that fulfilled all of his dreams, that took care of people and helped, and see that path. I want to see both of those paths when I get to the end of this road of my life journey. And I want to know, I not want to know, I just want to feel fulfilled knowing that I did take the path of fulfillment and I filled every day with everything that I could do, right?
For good.
For good. Because that's the best thing. You don't want to
Yeah.
get to the end of your life and be like, wow, I did nothing. I complained my whole life and I was a victim of my whole life.
Right.
Wow.
And regardless of how old you are, we go through this all the time. We got quite an age gap difference, but he serves me in different ways than I serve him. The relationships you create, and him being transparent. And sometimes you may think that our lives are peachy and perfect. That's far off. But I love challenge, because is what I found is by having challenges, I go forward. I've made a commitment. I didn't used to do this. If I got a roadblock or fear hits me, I lean into the fear because I know what's on the other side of that. You can push through that wall. You just got to believe there is more on that other side. And here's the truth. With all that challenge, all that heartache, all that hurt, whatever is going on in your life, push through. There is light on the other side, I promise you. But you're going to, as you learn, you're going to find joy in the process. And we seem kind of happy and excited here all the time. We do for the most part during the day. You don't catch us off really wallering. We'll have a little conversation, talk ourselves each off a ledge, and we're back at it. We're out of that valley,
Yep.
right?
And I lean on Tom a lot, and Tom helps me get out of that valley.
Oh, and I lean on you too.
I've said it in previous videos. I do think you got to have someone to talk to you. And if you don't, I do say record yourself, because sometimes watching those back, not sometimes, but watching those back is powerful. And sometimes you're like, wow, I was just complaining about a ton. And sometimes you're like, I had a message and I get it. And then you sit there and write it down and you break down what's going on. And I would recommend that if you don't have anyone, but also if you don't have anyone, email in. We should have an email down in the comments down below. Email in, just let us know what's going on. Have someone to talk to. Write it all out. Write out all your thoughts. Send us in a journal entry, if you will.
But be picky with who you share information with. Somebody that you trust and is confidential, that you feel that you can spill your guts. You have to vent. You have to let go.
You do. And when Tom's mad, he does not take things and throw them back in my face that I've told him that are personal to me. That's my biggest thing, is you can't invest these things into someone that's going to throw right back at you and use it as venom against you. It's got to be wholehearted trust. And if you're talking to someone that does throw stuff at you, that's not your friend. That's not someone that really cares. That's someone that's using your challenges against you, and that's not fair to you. And I would recommend not talking to them.
So I'm going to share a little bit of something that I learned, and I just make it to live my life on. Number one, you got to be honest with yourself, and you've always got to tell the truth, regardless of how bad it hurts. There's one force in the universe that is more powerful than anything in the world, and it's love. And that lays inside of you. So there's two different loves, right? There's conditional and there's unconditional. What love do you live by? My challenge to you is you live unconditionally. No judgment, no nothing. If somebody shares something to you, we don't have the right to judge. You never know what that other person that you're talking to is feeling. You never know how close they are to whatever.
Yeah.
But think about the two loves. When you love, is it based on condition? If somebody does something for you, you'll love them. If somebody does something for you or they choose not to, do you still love them? it's pretty powerful of what love is, and that's really what getting to know and love yourself and the identity change is really starts with loving you and who you are, because most people don't. They've forgotten. So we're just talking these ideas because it takes work.
It does.
But I promise you, the work that you put in towards yourself and your heart and becoming that person you was created to be when you came into this world is going to be well worth it. It's going to pay dividends. Okay? But one last thing I just want to just remember. There's three things. You get your spiritual life in order. Your mental emotions. You got to get control of your emotions. Okay? The third one's your physical. All that is the money. And I talk about this a lot. It's kind of like putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
All my life I had the money first. That's what I was chasing, but I ended up with none. Ended up broke, actually. So I had to rethink, how was I living? Was I just chasing money, or was I chasing that person I want to be? And working on my spirituality, working on my mental and emotional health. Mental wellness is a big deal nowadays, right?
It's everything right now.
Everybody struggles.
Yeah.
And you ain't alone. I'm not alone.
We're here.
But it is. I mean, it's mental and emotional, and you have to be aware and conscious.
Yeah, 100%.
So anyway, maybe I took a little too much right there, but I really felt inspired that love is the answer.
One more thing I just want to touch on that. One thing that is kind of cool about me and Tom. Tom is a man of God, and I'm a man of the universe.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have different sides of things, but you can still talk and then work through that together,
Yeah.
you know? Me and Tom work through that together all the time, talking about it, our different sides, aspects. It's okay to have an opinion and feel a certain way. If you're like, I really don't know what's out there and I'm scared of it, my recommendation would be lean into the universe a little bit. If you're a faithful person and, you know, if God's something that speaks more to you, I recommend doing that. If you have whatever religion, whatever, it's just that spiritual aspect of you to really get that together. And when I started working more on that, I feel like the other two led to the last one, you know, and that spiritual is a big part. And once you hit that spiritual, it helps with the mental, it helps with the physical. Just having something to lean into. And for me, I'm just like, I know the universe has my back. And I just have to let go, surrender of things, and just let the universe ride. As long as I put in hard work every day, it's all going to come. You guys, I just really appreciate you guys being here today.
One last thing.
Share what you got to share.
On the universal part, I'm a firm believer in the universe, and I believe my universe lays right in here. It's in here. It's not out there. It's right here.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah,
and you create your own world. It is right here. You know, he references the differences that it's not about religion to me. I reference to that of my upbringing and all that, but he's right 100%. The universe is created in here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's love, peace, and joy.
Love. You know what? I just want to end with that today. Love, peace, and joy. And
I love you.
We love you. And honestly, I really hope you guys find that in your lives. Not hope. I know you're going to find that in your lives. If you stick alongside us, we're going to work to help you find that too. What did we just say? Joy, peace, and love?
Love, peace, and joy.
Love, peace, and joy.
But they all together.
All together. That is so powerful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do us a huge favor. Give us a like and subscribe. Let us know down in the comments down below if you got a nugget out of today. Also, if you did get a nugget out of today, just ask that you share this on your socials, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you guys are using. Share us out. Get the name out. Let people know about us. We're trying to grow ourselves, trying to grow a little bit bigger. I'm Zach Bradley, Zack Mustache Media.
I'm Tom Worth. Accelerate your best life and have the best week ever. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you guys in the next one.